Ladies and gentlemen, stick around. We've got Ideas by Elliot. Hey, folks, you're listening to Ideas by Elliot. And we're here with Ideas by Elliot. Podcast.
I am here with Vanya Koepke. I think I pronounced that right.
You nailed it.
Is that enough enthusiasm? Because I don't want, like the contrast is good, but I'm afraid of the, hi, I'm here with Alex. Like I'm excited to be here with Vanya. I was excited to be there with Alex. I was super excited to be there with Naresh. Naresh is like my BFF. Oh, yeah. So.
You just got to stop taking audience notes.
Is that the problem?
Don't listen to what people tell you they like to listen to. Just do your show and your audience will find you.
Well, I'm afraid of that. There are people that I want to have listen, and then there are people that want to listen, and I'm worried about those people.
Yeah,
I'm actually worried about those people. And if that's you, like I don't know what to do. So anyway, we're gonna try to be a little more brief with some of these, and what I want to do is I want to get as many of the city council and county board candidates in the Green Bay area featured.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, and so you're officially the second, but Alex is also business owner, so we had him on a kind of a special thing.
Absolutely.
So you are running for Green Bay City Council District 1.
That's correct.
Okay, so what's District 1? Give me some kind of an
District
idea.
1, we have a very strong education base. We have Red Smith Elementary to the north, UW Green Bay, a Division I university right in the middle. I'm a former alumnus of that university. And we have Baird Elementary to the south. So really the district is pretty much opened up and closed with education. So very proud of the teachers we have in the area, the professors, and some of very talented students.
Wow. You are a seasoned professional politician already. So you are, contrary to what I just said, you are fresh to politics though, yes?
I am. And the goal is to not be another politician. If I want to be a politician, I'd be in Madison and had the opportunity to go and work in Madison after graduation. Being a public administration, political science major, the opportunity was there to become a status quo politician. But what we need are representative people who know that the people are the governors, and it's our job to simply carry out their wishes on their behalf.
So I'm not ignoring you. I'm taking notes.
That's perfect.
So I got in, I did I ever tell this story? Like I got in trouble. I had this corporate job for a short time, and it wasn't that long ago, but it was long ago already. And I pulled out my iPhone in the meeting because it was my first day on the job. Nobody gave me any pencil and paper or anything like that. I had my iPhone, and I was used to being a professional, taking notes on my iPhone. And I got passive-aggressive flack for that. It was crazy.
Oh, man.
So anyway, now I feel like I have to call it out when I'm taking notes. So I digressed. I'm sorry. What made you want to do this? Like you said that you're a political science major. I guess maybe just take a step back to that. Like what drew you to political science?
Absolutely.
What have you done before? Yeah.
Yep. Well, so originally, backtrack all the way to the beginning, I was adopted from Russia when I was 10. Then I was homeschooled 5th grade through senior year of high school out in West Bend, where I'm from after adoption. Then went to UW Washington County for 2 years, a community college where, save a lot of costs on education by commuting. And while I was attending there, politics wasn't on my radar at all. I was pursuing business, interested in sports, intramurals, things of that nature. And one day I got an email saying, hey, you can make $20 per game by line judging volleyball. So I go down to the athletic director's office, fill out some paperwork. You might be wondering, where is this going? Well, so as I'm filling out the paperwork, she's like, hey, I have to run to a student government meeting. Would you want to join me? And I'm like, okay, what's student government? I was homeschooled, so I didn't have the student council or any of that background. And I said, sure, I'll join you. And I come there. There's like 6 students, very small group. But they talk about some new initiatives, various projects. And I was like, okay, that was kind of lame. But she said, Vanya, one day you'll be president of student government. And I smiled. I said, Deb, her name was Debbie Bushlick, and she said, yeah, you'll be president one day. And I said, well, yeah, that'll be funny. Well, lo and behold, I became president second semester after some opportunities came about. And as I was planning on transferring to UW Green Bay, I said, hey, it's time to settle down in the major, have my gen eds out of the way. So let's look at some programs. And the political science program was very strong at UW Green Bay. Had a great advisor in Katya Levintova, who was the former chair of the political science department. And I was fortunate enough to become student government president my second year there as well.
At
UW Green Bay.
UWGB. Okay.
Yes.
Wow. So I guess I would classify you as a natural leader then, if people were able to diagnose your condition early on.
That's a good way of putting it. I mean, even when playing sports, I played basketball for 7 years, coached for 3. I'd sit on the bench, or I'd do small things here and there, and people would say, Vanya, you're a quiet leader. You lead by example. And I said, well, that's my role. That's what I need to do just behind the scenes. And I was very proud of doing that, just encouraging guys one-on-one on the side or saying something positive as a coach. But over time, my parents and certain coaches along the way, student government advisors, Debbie Bushlick, they all came alongside and they said, hey, it's fine to be a quiet leader and to lead by example, but there's times to rise up. And so I think through their encouragement and their motivation to step up, I took the role and began to lead more vocally.
So you have you been on the sidelines in city council? Have you had any impact, like dealing with city council outside of this run before?
Honestly, my 2 main experiences was my internship with the city of De Pere as intern for the planning and zoning department there, my junior year of college. And my senior year, first semester, I had a chance to intern as an assistant to Andy Rosendahl, the chief of staff to the mayor.
Okay.
So during that semester, it was an election year, so much of my focus wasn't so much on the election, but more on drafting the State of the City address, doing some of the press releases. So during that time, I attended a few city council meetings, read over the agendas and minutes. But in all, I would say I'm an outsider, and experience one-on-one with the city council is not too great.
So how much involvement, you said something about helping to draft the State of the City address, how much involvement did you have in that?
Quite a bit. I did a lot of research, worked with the Economic Development Department, Wendy Townsend, worked with Andy quite a bit. And when I attended the address, I was pleased to hear that close to a half of it was what I had drafted. And so I was very happy with what they put to the final product.
So why on earth would you want to run for city council?
Well, it comes back to giving back. My parents gave me a second chance by going halfway across the world when I was 10. They gave me a chance by turning my future from $300 of Social Security money and the open door of the orphanage to what I have now, an amazing family, college education, amazing friends, and most importantly, just a great community where I now live. So it stems from a desire to give back and to turn the status quo of politics back to governance and representation of people's ideas.
So that's an awesome answer to why you're seeking public office, but why specifically city council, though?
City council is a great nonpartisan area where you can get people at the local level to come together and get tangible things accomplished, not just talk about them, not just have these ideas and hopes and dreams, but to come together, put a plan forward, initiate it, get it done. We certainly can do more by collaborating with the county board. We can do more by collaborating with the municipalities in our region. And in order to reach those areas, city council is the best place to start.
Okay. And are you involved in the primary?
Yes, I have a primary on February 16th.
Okay. And so that means that you have at least 2 opponents.
I do.
Okay.
The incumbent, Alderman Wisbiski, and Barbara Dorff.
Okay. Nice of you to name them.
Absolutely. They're great people. I actually met with Barb for coffee a week ago, called Alderman Wisbiski. I respect him, and
Okay. All right.
Got to remember to turn my mic on.
Oh.
I was just going to jump in there because we do appreciate you mentioning it because we want to reach out and get everybody on.
Yeah.
Right.
As
So
much as possible. And,
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I guess my goal in this is to renew my faith in America, where if we give everybody, their 30 minutes and they get elected based on what their ideas are rather than
I love that. I love
that. The current presidential debates are a tragedy. Like I feel like the soundbite nature of it.
Oh yeah, I hear where you're coming from.
So your number one qualification is that you're better at the 30-second zinger. I think that's I think it's disgusting. So anyway, little sidebar, but yeah, thanks, Nick.
right. Yes.
All right. So I'm kind of like eyeballing my list of questions, and I want to be. So anybody listening who is another candidate, if I miss a question that you wanted to address, call me out on it. I'm going to try to be consistent on it. Can you, take this whatever direction you want? But
Absolutely.
What is? So you were inspired to, for all sorts of positive reasons to get into city
Absolutely.
council, right? But can you point out an example of where? And not necessarily the incumbent you're running against or your opponents or anything like that. I don't want it to be like that, but like where you think that our current city council maybe fell short or came up a little bit lacking, in your opinion. Okay.
Well, the number one thing that I hear from my constituents that have been knocking on hundreds of doors over the past 6 months is we need to renew faith in young people. Young people are counted out. Young people are just looked at, oh, wow, they're not voting, they're not involved, they're not volunteering, they're not giving back to their community. So until they reach a certain age, whether it's 25 or 30, and it's getting later and later, unfortunately, they're not ready to do anything positive for the community. So to hear them say, that's outstanding that you're running, I'll support you because we have a fresh voice, some fresh ideas, and somebody who's young, who's willing to step up and say, we can preserve the quality of life for the people who've lived here for 15, 20, or 30 years, but at the same time, get young people inspired to give back and to stay in the community to enrich it.
Okay, so you mentioned that you want to. I guess I'm not looking for you to bash anybody, but so a negative thing you're saying that maybe they fell up short in keeping young people engaged.
I would say that's definitely one of the things, and I also hear positive things as I talk to people.
We'll get to that.
Yeah,
we're gonna deal with the negatives first. don't be a politician on me.
for sure.
So, how old are you?
I am 23.
Okay, so I would classify that as relatively young for political office. So, if me being unfortunately a lot older than you, how would you convince me that you have the experience to take on kind of an important role in local government?
Absolutely. And that's where the phrase, don't judge the book by its color, comes into play here. It's really important for us not to say that somebody is too young or too old. We have to take the age out of it. And we have to look at track record. We have to look at how we work.
You know who says that? Young people.
Well, yeah, that makes sense. And when you look at our current electorate, I mean, in the last few elections, I mean, we see 18-year-olds getting elected to their state chamber out in West Virginia. Sarah, I forget her last name. But if you just Google top 10 young people on both nonpartisan and partisan elections, you have some young people. Facebook founder, Mark Zuckerberg, fairly young. Some of the business and
well, I didn't say you can't go start a tech company. I'm saying that being engaged with the so I mean and I don't want to beat you up on this. So
I'll definitely continue. I was going to say,
but I feel like those are questions that people would want answered.
Absolutely.
I think like if I got a piece of literature in the mail or what however you're going to promote things, and it said I'm 23. I went to UWGB. I do some things, and I want to represent you.
What have I done?
How would you counter that? Like really, other than like a platitude, like don't judge a book by its cover. Like
sure,
you're going to be judged. You're in politics. Like you're going to be judged by your cover, and like that's just the way that it is to a certain extent. Doing things like this, we're trying to change some of those things.
Absolutely.
So, how would you be better than somebody older?
So, yeah, looking at the track record, uniting people. One area where we see a lot of criticism and complaint of our current city council is lack of unity. At UW Washington County, I was able to get students involved. We doubled the size of that student government, enriched involvement there. At UW Green Bay, we were able to triple the size of the student government, and the voter turnout for the student government election and that local election that year was the highest it had been in the past. And specifically, we were dealing with budget cuts. We had the tuition freeze along with certain cuts that every university had to make. So Chancellor Miller asked me to, as student government president, to represent 7,000 students while looking at a $96 million budget, which is about $8 million less than the city of Green Bay's budget. And to go through and prioritize keeping certain areas that are vital, such as public safety, but at the same time doing our best to trim and meet the legislature's requirement. So we were able to trim accordingly. Some very hard decisions were made. But bottom line is we were able to have the public safety office staffed to the fullest for the first time in 6 years. So that shows that we can collaborate and work on things to get them done, but at the same time, work with a very high budget and prioritize accordingly.
Okay. All right. I think we're gonna do our little sponsor break, kind of at our halfway point. So I want to give a shout out to Camera Corner Studios. I don't know if I'm safe to talk about these packages yet, but I'll just turn it over briefly to Nick.
We can talk about the packages.
Okay.
I need to get the image out on Facebook.
No, that's all cool.
I will.
So one really cool thing for all the politicians that are out there. I see this basic video package.
Yeah, totally.
And to me, that screams like political ads.
Yeah.
So, and that's $370, 2 hours. I think Nick will help you.
Yes.
Is that true?
Yes, I will be here to work.
That's worth $370 right there. No, and I'm not going to give you a raise, but I would.
Oh. Okay.
So I mean, for $370, you're going to get professionally crafted videos out of this deal, right?
Right. I mean, and
that's amazing to me.
That's the cool thing. I mean, that includes the camera. It includes the teleprompter. If you want to shoot a practical set, you're welcome to bring that in. Otherwise, we have backdrop options. We have some nice, office spaces we can use, or kind of an outdoorsy look with the stone wall. We could use a green screen, put you anywhere you want it to be. So, all the packages are customizable, but the bundles that Elliot's talking about, those are kind of some frameworks to give you an idea of where we are.
But I mean, that would be a good package for somebody.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I've had customers, and really what it comes down to is your preparedness. I mean, if you come in with a script and you're just going to read the teleprompter, I've had clients come in, and in their 2-hour session, they've made 4 to 8 videos.
Right. So you could have some short form videos talking to specific subjects.
If you're looking at a 30-second TV commercial, I maybe need 10 minutes of your time shooting and then a little bit extra on editing.
Nice.
We'll make it work.
So how quickly could they turn something like that around? If they called you today, today's January 22nd. Happy birthday, brother Eric.
Yes. I don't know. Are we releasing today too? How are you going to do that? Because these are kind of special.
As soon as we can.
Okay.
I'd like to get these out faster. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like if you called me today, we're booked Saturday, Sunday.
Yep.
Monday, I could be here, and if we're looking at 2 hours of time blocked, you could probably walk away with your 30-second spot completely finished.
That's killer.
I mean, if you were trying to do 5-minute things, I might need more editing time, but.
So just as a point of reference, I know like yard signs, that can be hundreds of dollars, and really like for a city council campaign, probably $500.
Yeah.
For yard signs, and if you do direct mail, that could be $1,000.
And I'll also help coach it. Like if you wanted to make a YouTube channel or a Facebook page, I can help you with that, or I can hook you up with experts in those fields. That'll get you started with those publishing platforms, I guess we'll call them.
So they can reach you how?
920-272-0148 or email rentals@cccp.com.
And you don't have the email on your sheet here?
No.
But you do have the phone number, so I can do that now.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know your phone number. Okay, thank you. And
Absolutely.
You know what? I think we'll just kind of go right into ReleaseWire, my other sponsor, right away. And ReleaseWire, Daniel and his team They have some other podcasty things brewing under the radar too. But I for right now, we're talking about ReleaseWire, the press release service, and you can, if you're a small business or probably even a politician, you can jump on there and you can create your own profile if you head over to releasewire.com. And I really appreciate everything that Daniel Jones and ReleaseWire have done to move things forward, and we're going to have more to talk about on that too. So that's awesome. So now we'll go back to my friend Vanya Koepke.
Nailed it again. 2 for 2. Outstanding.
Well, I'm horrible at that, and I have a not difficult to say name, I guess, but like people like destroy how it's spelled all the time. So I'm sensitive to that. So like when I get it wrong, I really, that bothers me. You know, I mean, it's like a point of respect, right?
Absolutely.
So anyway, I tried to get some of a little bit of the bad stuff, and whatever. I'm just going to be honest. You didn't convince me yet. Why? And you don't have to. I'm not looking for mudslinging, but like,
oh sure,
what is it that would make me choose you over an incumbent, or like what is City Council doing wrong that you would like to see better?
For sure. Well, there's no doubt that monopoly does not exist in politics. Nobody has a monopoly in democracy. That's the first thing to note. But we have to just be aware of the current times, the change in technology, the change in the way we reach out to our constituents, the way we connect with our neighbors. People who just get on Facebook, well, that's almost outdated now. That's just a regular part of life. You check Facebook in the morning, at lunch, before you go to bed. People are now Snapchatting more than texting. Yeah, you have more tweeting than Facebook posts. In fact, my Twitter is connected to my Facebook, so when I tweet, it goes directly to Facebook. So with all those things said, we have to talk about how are we reaching our constituents. Flyers and mailers may work for a little bit longer, but we are beyond that. We are at a time where we've got to harness technology. So I believe I'm one of the first candidates who has a website. I haven't seen one yet, but I'm sure they will soon follow, vanyakoepke.com. And it allows for people to give real-time feedback and for me to get back to them in real time. We have a survey in the contact section that gives some of the areas of issue that residents of the first district have brought up, and you're able to vote for your top 3. And then to the left side, you're able to email me directly and say, here's my idea, here's my concern. And I want this to be not just a campaign stunt. This website will exist beyond the election. So when I am the alderman, I'm able to respond to them on anything such as, hey, I have a injury and I need some help raking leaves. And I will prioritize those things to have hands-on service to the constituents, not just talking points, not just decisions that are made in the city council chambers, but decisions and talking points that we make while we're raking leaves, while we're just talking at a town hall meeting, which is something the residents definitely want more of. And just give them that real-time feedback through social media and technology.
So, okay, so I have your website up here, and I have your poll here. A couple quick things. Okay?
Absolutely.
I don't see any way for you to, I could vote and I'm not in your district. So just throwing that out there that this may not be a super, super scientific survey. Which,
sure, that's a good point.
Whatever. That doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. But I want to just run through these items you have on here as possible choices, and you do have an other blank that people can fill in something that's their favorite, and you say choose your top 3, right? So and you're saying that these are things that you've heard.
Absolutely.
Okay. So I have one that sticks out at me, and that's a little strange. So first off is sidewalks, roads, and signs. That makes some sense, I think. Trees, landscaping, parks. And then you have UW Green Bay. I'm confused as to why that would be a city council point of discussion, like as a priority, but we can loop back to that. I'll get through the list.
Absolutely.
Red Smith Elementary, Baird Elementary, after-school programs, childcare, business development, more town halls with aldermen, and finally having an alderman who will volunteer his time in the district. So these things, most of them make some sense, and these might not be from you. These might be from constituents that you've talked with. But what does City Council have to do with childcare? Like, what could you do about that? If that was found to be the number one thing, what could you do about that?
Well, that's where we have to break down some of the silos. It's a great opportunity to start working with the county board more and working with the area as far as, hey, is there an opportunity to have a child care center at UW Green Bay for a lot of the single parents, a lot of the professors, and workers there to be able to find an area and have a safe place that's nearby and probably more affordable for the employees of the university to drop their kids off there.
Okay.
So this is an opportunity to collaborate with the university, with the city, and with the county.
But really, all you could do is provide information, right?
And begin.
So, like, if I said childcare is my number one thing, you'd call me up and you'd be like, "Hey, I got a solution for childcare." You would really just be able to tell me about some options, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Talk about how we can pursue it further.
Yeah. And similarly with after-school programs, and even anything with the schools, UW Green Bay, Red Smith, Baird. Other than like one thing that drove me crazy when I would drop my son off at school or pick him up, like. The parking utility would like give people tickets while they're there waiting to pick up their kids.
Oh, really? Wow.
It was insanity.
Yeah.
And anyway, so fix that. And so
definitely vote in that poll. Definitely, even though I don't live in the first district, definitely throw that in there.
So like I would kind of pick the schools because of that.
Because if people from outside the district want to help us improve the area,
right.
Hey, vote.
Right.
Please vote.
Like we have all sorts of lax parking policies downtown, and then I pick up my kid at school. Like that's kind of crazy. But
I'm so glad you bring parking up because I think the quarter meters. I think that's something we gotta take a closer look at. I mean, people use credit cards half the time. Most of the time, they have quarters on them. So when you look at some of the bigger cities like Milwaukee and Madison, they're transitioning to those stations where you can use your credit card or cash to pay at a centralized location instead of bringing bins of quarters with you just to park.
Totally. Like, so when I'm in Milwaukee, there's an app. There's a Milwaukee parking app, and it's not super awesome, but it's like that's just how things are done. Mm-hmm. It makes me a little bit insane when. Okay, so if I was coming from Milwaukee and I was coming up here, so as a tourism, as a business development issue, that's a much larger issue than I think anybody is paying attention to.
Oh, sure.
And I know the parking utility was looking into it, and they're taking too long. By the time they come up with a solution that was good 2 years ago, it'll be 4 years out of date.
And we are the third largest city, so we should be playing catch up. We should be right in the mix of all this. Milwaukee, Madison.
We're smaller than Milwaukee with an outsized reputation. We should be leading. They should be following.
That's a great point.
It's a lot easier for us to install parking meters than it is for them.
You nailed it.
So to me, it's negligent and it's customer service. Mm-hmm. So I'm coming up from Milwaukee. Why would I have more than a credit card? Or maybe I have a 20 in my wallet, emergency money. I don't have a pocket full of quarters.
I hear you. It's annoying going to the bank and saying, "Okay, can I get $10 worth of quarters every other week?" Because
I mean, I live here. And I hate that because I never remember. So we would have a recurring appointment down at the Bellin Building, and Gina and I would be like scrambling for change on the way.
Yeah. It's like you have dimes, you have pennies, and it's like, wow, they'll give me an extra 2 minutes. I'll give you an extra 5 minutes. You're like, come on, get to the 2 hours.
It's preposterous. So, I mean, it doesn't have to be, I need to be able to use an app. Like we are to that point. That is current. That is not future.
Yeah. You came full circle. Let's use technology. Let's get young people.
Go up to it and tap it with my phone and be paid.
You came full circle.
And the city will make more money.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
It doesn't have to be 25 cents an hour or 50 cents an hour. It could be $3 an hour if we need to pay for it. So like that,
And this is the innovation that young people can provide when they're given the opportunity to lead on the city council.
Okay. So, that's nice. And you have on here trees, landscaping, parks. What do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, one of the main things I get complaints about is trees hitting power lines or in a windstorm, just having obstruction for turning corners. You're having trees and bushes that aren't trimmed or should be probably overgrown because they've been there for ages. So getting rid of those. So pretty much making sure traffic routes are safe, making sure the power lines are clear, and we're getting immediate feedback and response to the constituents.
So your concern is safety over
absolutely.
aesthetics.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. I think aesthetics is fine. I don't think that
Oh, sure,
it's just
sure. Yeah.
wanted to clarify
I actually
that.
worked for a landscaping company for 3 summers as a college job every summer. So, yeah, plant a lot of trees, trim a lot of trees.
Okay. And then I wanted you to bash city council. You didn't really take me up on that. I really didn't. But I find it curious because
Sure.
okay, I mean, if I'm a voter, I am a voter. If I see somebody new running, I'm thinking 2 things. I'm thinking either this person's underqualified or they're overqualified. And what I mean by that is either I don't think you're going to be able to do a better job than the incumbent,
Sure.
or like this is a gut reaction, and of course there's it depends on the people always, right? And or I feel like, well, this person is way better than the other person, and so they're using this as a stepping stone.
Sure.
So talk to that. Tell me about that.
Well, bashing and playing negative politics, I think that's something people want to get rid of right away. That's why I called Alderman Wisbiski and I met for coffee with Barb, and I said, we're going to have a clean campaign. I pledged them a clean campaign. So my job isn't to bash them down. It's to give the voters an opportunity to see, hey, what will be the best outcome for me in this, instead of for the talking points and the sound bites that a politician can provide.
Yeah.
As far as being underqualified or overqualified, I think that is going to be in the eye of the beholder. My job is to speak to as many constituents as I have, to as many neighbors and people who live in the 1st District, and to have a genuine conversation with them. Not to try
So
to,
I would refer to that as a punt. You punted on my question. So, but really, like, I mean, explain to me why you're in the sweet spot. If it's up to the voters and you don't give them any information,
Yeah.
like they're
Yeah.
not going to choose in your
I am
favor.
in the sweet spot because what political science major, public administration major would turn down a job in Madison at the Capitol?
Okay.
After
So you're crazy.
After graduation, well, I love the city of Green Bay, and I want to give back to a place that's good but has some awesome potential to become great. And there's great places people go to out of state, out of the city for various reasons. But I believe in Green Bay. I believe in restoring the Green Bay way. So when I had the opportunity to work in Madison, I said, what can I rather give back to Green Bay? I could have held up my diploma and said I have a bachelor's in public administration, political science. Madison was my dream, and I had that opportunity in a way to make it about me, talk about my accomplishment and how I'm qualified to be the next whatever it might be. No, I said, I love Green Bay. I want to give back to this area. So people can take it for what it's worth, but I think that speaks volumes for somebody who rarely gets a job offer in their field to turn it down.
Okay.
So that is a sweet spot.
Okay. I'm neither agreeing nor disagreeing. I'm an impartial advocate for the voters.
And I appreciate you keeping the conversation on track, Elliot.
Trying
Making sure
to.
there's no punting or dodging going on.
Trying
So
to.
thank you.
Well, I want to give everybody an opportunity to speak, but I also don't want them to, I don't like sound bites are fun. I'm not going to lie,
Sure.
right? Like I would love if
Sure.
you said something really gimmicky that I could put out there and make millions of dollars. But like the reality is that I love this city too, and I would like it to be better. So I saw you were watching the clock. We can go over by just a smidge. It's not going to kill anybody. But so I guess I would like to hear. Just give me your last 30-second pitch on why somebody should vote for you or whatever.
For sure. Well, as I said, I love the city. I know the people who've lived here for 10, 20, or 30 years love the city as well. Unfortunately, a lot of the people who I talked to said, wow, you're the first person to knock on my door. I don't remember meeting my alderman before this. And I said, oh, you've lived here for 15, 20, sometimes even 30 years. So if you've lived here for that long, how can you not know your alderman? So, yeah, I look forward to being a regular person. Nothing special about me, but a regular person who is willing to represent the ideas and the issues of the people I live with. So, yeah, I look forward to continued discussion as I knock door to door. I'm not seeking endorsements. I'm not trying to say that I'm overqualified or special. The only endorsement I need is a fellow man or woman in this city who say, I believe and I love this city as much as I do, and I want to go on this journey with you. So I hope I get the endorsement of the people through their vote, and I look forward to working with them to make this city a great city.
Okay. So you said, when is the primary election?
Primary is February 16th, and the general is April 5th.
Okay, good. Okay, so that is what I'm seeing.
And you can early vote 2 weeks ahead of time.
And you said it was a nonpartisan ballot?
It is a nonpartisan ballot.
Yeah, so city council and county board, those are all nonpartisan.
Yep.
Which just means, it doesn't mean that much anyway. You can cross party lines in Wisconsin anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to pull straight Republican or straight Democrat or straight Libertarian or straight Socialist or Green Party or whatever. But so theoretically, these are supposed to be nonpartisan. It's supposed you're supposed to be representing your neighbors.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah. We're not red. We're not blue. We're green. We're Green Bay.
See,
cut his microphone. Your soundbite.
Cut his microphone. Very, very good. Very good. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you so
Vanya.
much, Elliot. Really appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Thank
Absolutely.
you so much. Don't forget to run over to iTunes and Stitcher and give a rating and review of the show. It helps other people find us.
Cheers.